a lot of the things that stop us from being the CEO of our life are a lot of the shoulds. I should do this, I should do that. And we have to stop making our business and our lives the way you think it should be.
Welcome to the Badass Manifestor podcast, keeping you inspired with high vibe content, bringing you the best manifestation and mindset tools, teachings, interviews, and answering questions to help empower you to get out of your own way and take massive action to make magic your everyday normal. I'm your host, Ashley Gordon, spiritual life and manifestation coach, helping women and spiritual entrepreneurs manifest more impact, influence, and income. It is my purpose and pleasure to help you wake up to the badass creator that you are. Let's do this. Welcome back, my BAM fam, to another episode on the Badass Manifestor podcast. As always, I'm so happy you're here, truly more than you know. And today we are going to dive into talking about what it means to be the CEO of your life and of your business. And I cannot wait to jam out on this subject. And before we do, I have to shout out a listener who left a review because that's what I do on my solo episodes. So I want to give a shout out to my girl, Kat the Yogi. You know who you are. She says, 5 stars, embodies ease and flow. Ashley, thank you for coming into my life with your presence and podcast. Literally, they have transformed my way of being, thinking, and living life. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I feel so energized and inspired every time I listen. While I'm not a coach, your words inspire me in so many different ways. I can't thank you enough. Well, I actually know Kat. So Kat, thank you so much for leaving a review on the podcast. And what I'll say is that she is a yoga teacher and she leads trainings. So Kat, you are a coach, just so you know. You're a leader. And if you're listening and you're wondering, like, I'm not a coach, does Ashley only talk to coaches? Yes, I talk to coaches, but I speak to women who are leaders. And I believe that each and every one of you listening is a leader. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not yet, I know that you are a leader. And you know what it takes to be a leader? It takes someone to show up in a way that impacts others and that you might not even be aware of. You might not even know how you're impacting others. But when you make an impact on other people, guess what you are? You're a leader. So thanks, Kat. Yay! And then one more review, 5 stars from Queen Kirk Manifests. She wrote, manifest the best you can be. Manifest the best you can be. I love that. Ash, you are my girl. Yes, I am. I've been listening to you for a few months. I appreciate all of your guidance and advice. You're absolutely incredible, and I am so grateful that you came through my ears and into my mind. Oh my God, that's so sweet. You're pushing me into the life of my dreams. Thank you. Love you. Namaste. Queen Kirk, I love you too. Namaste. Truly, truly. Thank you so much. And if you want a shout out on the podcast, all you have to do is go on iTunes, hit 5 stars, leave a review, how this podcast has impacted you, and just share a little tiny bit. And I cannot wait to shout you out on the next solo episode. So without further ado, enjoy today's episode. I've been playing around with this idea and contemplating, what does it mean to be the CEO of my life? And what I'm realizing is that it means building my business around the lifestyle that I truly want to live. And what it also means is that I have to constantly remind myself that I make up the rules for my life and for my business. And I don't have to play by any other rules other than my own. But the problem is that sometimes we forget that we are the boss of our lives, that we are the ones that put things into place and say, you know, we can have this, we can't have that. We can make time for this, we can't make time for that. Nobody else puts that on us but ourselves, you know? And so it's really like the beauty about being a coach and an entrepreneur is that I get to make up the rules, but I have to constantly remind myself of this. And so I want to remind you guys of this as well, because every day we have the chance to begin again. Every day, every damn day. And nothing is set in stone because everything is energy, right? So when you're the boss, you get to decide. And I love it when I have meetings with my business manager, Jenna, and I'll ask her a question about my schedule or about my business or about something, and she'll be like, you're the boss. You make up the rules. And I'm like, oh yeah, I am the boss. Sometimes I don't necessarily want to be the boss. I'm like, somebody just tell me what to freaking do, you know? But it's helped me be more decisive, and it's helped me step into my power on another level. But as I realize that nothing is set in stone and that I can create anything I want from where I'm at, you can create anything you want from where you're at right now, I want to remind you of something. And I want to give you a permission slip, because sometimes we forget that we actually do have the power. And it sometimes takes calling our power back in order to step into the CEO role of your life. And the permission slip is, like for me, it's okay to say no. It's really challenging at times for me to say no. Say no to opportunities, say no to dinner, say no to one more email, say no to whatever it is. I can't think of all the things right now, but like, it's okay to say no so you can be a bigger yes for yourself. Another thing I realized was like, it's okay to create the schedule of my dreams. I'm like, I'm not boxed in to my schedule, which is super cool. That's why I wanted to be an entrepreneur in the first place. But then we become a slave to our own schedules and to our own businesses. And that's not what we signed up for, right? And maybe you have a 9-to-5 job and you feel like you have your slave is like a really strong word, like, but you know what I mean, that you're, structured by that time. But at the same time, that is a big part of the day, but there's so many more hours available to you outside of that 9-to-5 schedule, right? So like, what are you going to do about those other hours? We have control over our own schedules. And another thing that I've been giving myself permission to do is to start over. There's been so many things in my business where I've had to start over. Like lately, I'm transferring all of my courses from one platform to another. That's a big project. I'm completely changing and revamping the podcast. Yay! That's a big project, right? I'm changing my courses around. That's a big project. A different, like rearranging things. And it's okay to start over. I feel like I'm always thinking I'm going to get to this certain like place in my business where it's going to just like be so easeful all the time and it's just going to stay like that. But ultimately, everything is always changing and it's okay to start over. In fact, it's part of the process. And then it's also okay to change your mind. I've changed my mind so much in business from day to day. I change my mind all the time. And what I'll say about changing your mind is like, that's just part of life. You're allowed to change your mind. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing says this is how it has to be and it can't be any other way. That's just not true. So you can change your mind. And it's okay to take a break. That's another one. Like to be the CEO of my life, I have to take lots of breaks. I can't be available for stress in the way that I have been in the past because it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve anyone. So taking a break is really, really important and valuable. And then another one, big one for me, is it's okay to ask for support. You know, if it's true that like every day is the beginning of everything that we want, I really have to start to look at the areas where I am overloading myself with things and tasks and whatever that I don't need to be doing, and actually ask for help. Where are you not asking for help? And where can you ask for more help? I swear it's life-changing. Because being the CEO of your life, that person, that CEO version of you is asking for help. Believe me. How do you think CEOs run corporations? They have a lot of people underneath of them who are supporting them, right? Such a big one for me right now. The other one is, it's okay to not be like everyone else. Being the CEO of your life and business, it requires you to let go of the drift of what everybody else is doing and step into what you want to do. What's your vision? Being a CEO in my mind means being a visionary. And being a visionary means creating what you wish existed in the world. And that is something that is such a strong value for me, that I know that when I am going with the crowd and I'm following instead of leading, that it's actually completely against my value system. And so it's really important for me to remind myself that it's okay to not be like everybody else. Peace. Another thing to give yourself permission for is slowing down to speed up. So right now in my business and in my life, it's a lot of foundational things happening and resetting foundation in order to explode to a whole nother level. And sometimes when you're resetting the foundation, it can feel a little bit scary because I might not be launching as many things as I normally would because I'm setting up for something even bigger. But in that meantime, I'm slowing down, right? So maybe not bringing in as much as I maybe would have before, but I know it's going to pay off in the long run. And it's really important when you are a visionary to know that a lot of these things, saying no, changing your mind, starting over, taking a break, asking for support, all of that is going to require some sort of slowdown to speed up. That's part of the process of being a CEO. And it's part of trusting the process too. So really trusting in your vision to know that you're on the right track, right? And then another one that I got to is that for me personally, realizing that I make up the rules in my life and business, for me, like launching a zillion times a year is not sustainable for me. And that goes in alignment with not being like everyone else, right? Because, online business has a launch culture, and launching products and services and group coaching and all of that's very important. But at the same time, for me and my lifestyle and being the CEO of my life and business, I've made the executive decision that launching a zillion times a year is not the way that I want to run my business, because that's not the lifestyle I want to have. And I'm not available for the level of anxiety and stress that brings during those times. So I'm restructuring everything because of it. But I'm trusting in the vision that I have for my lifestyle and my life. And I'm trusting in the vision that I have for my business in order to believe that it's all going to commence the way that I intended to, even if it means slowing down to speed up, right? And then lastly, it's okay to not follow the crowd. Like everything that I'm talking about for me, it feels very against the grain, and it feels very against what most people are doing right now in the online space. And I'm sharing my personal experiences and these personal takeaways because I hope that they benefit you as well. But just to show you that you are not meant to be a carbon copy of somebody else, because you are you, right?
And so a lot of the things that stop us from being the CEO of our life are a lot of the shoulds. I should do this. I should do that. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't talk that way. Got to show up like this for this person. Shouldn't I do that? And it's a lot of that language that goes on behind the scenes in our minds. And we have to stop making our business and our lives the way you think it should be. Right? And you have to start trusting yourself to create what you truly want that supports the life of your dreams. If everything you're doing in your life right now is not supporting the life of your dreams, then why are you doing it? Is it because you think you have to? Is it because your mom told you to, or your dad told you to, or your husband thinks you should? What do you want? How do you want your life to feel? How do you want your lifestyle to be? And number one with that means feeling worthy of having that and being able to declare that that is what your energetic stand for. So for me right now, as I'm going over all these points with you, and I came to this realization of stepping into the CEO of my life, and I had a really harsh realization. And that realization is that I have created a life around my business instead of my business around my ideal life. And that literally smacked me sideways. I don't know, it was just like, wow, I did that. And it's really empowering. And at the same time, I'm realizing again and again that today is the beginning of anything I want. And today is the beginning of anything you want. So what am I going to do about that? Right? If I'm not happy with creating, my life around my business instead of my business around my life, my ideal lifestyle, what am I going to do about it? And if we're stuck in that toleration energy, that's not going to create change. And so I'm going to give you tips right now to help you step into the CEO of your life. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. So the first tip is to come clean with yourself, right? What rules are you putting in place for your life that aren't actually working for you? And how can you get into action around changing them? And tip 2 goes hand in hand because you have to know what your values are. You have to know what your values are in your life and in your business, right? So setting a new foundation to scale your business or to scale your life can feel scary. But at the same time, I'm so present to creating a business that supports the lifestyle I want in alignment with what I truly value. And let's just say that if family is one of my top 10 values, let's just say I value it at 1 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, at a 10. If I value family at a 10, and you look at the amount of action that you're taking in alignment with that value. So if I value it at a 10 and I'm really honest with myself and I say, okay, I'm probably taking a 5 out of 10 action on that value, something needs to shift. Because the things that are most important to you that you value at a 10 in your life and you're not taking that action on it, right? You want to rate how much action you're taking on your values that you truly value. So another example is okay, if I value adventure at a 10 and my action level on adventure is a 4, there's something out of alignment. So being the CEO of your life and of your business means figuring out your values, figuring out your ideal scenarios, and living your life in alignment with those things. And where you feel completely out of alignment, that's where we make up rules. And that's where we put these fake things, these fake boundaries in place that keep us boxed in. But guess what? There are no rules. There are no boundaries. You're the creator of your life. You're the creator of your business. You have the power. It's when we give our power away to our busy schedules, when we give our power away to our team, it's when we give our power away to our mom or dad or whoever you're giving your power away to. That's where you got to look and say, okay, what am I making true here that's not true? So that's step number 3, is to get clear. After you figure out your values and your action rating on your values, get clear on what you're making true that's not actually true about your life and your business. And then step 4 is to begin again. Like the Natasha Bedingfield song, "The rest is still unwritten." Really, every second is unwritten. Every moment you have an opportunity. Everything that you want, you can have, but you're never going to have what you want when you box yourself in with these limitations and we start to place the blame outside of ourselves. And what I mean by that is we blame other people's agendas or schedules or lives or rules or whatever, and we become a victim in our life instead of a victor. You're never going to be the CEO from that seat. It's just not possible. And another thing I want to add is that there's times where I feel so rushed. I feel so rushed by my purpose, or I feel so rushed by society. I don't know where the rush is coming from, but ultimately it's just with my ego, right? It's like, oh, I gotta scale to $1 million this year. But like, what's the rush? You know? What's the rush? Where are we going? Enjoying the process is just as much part of enjoying the destination, because the process is the destination. I really want you to get that on a deep level. Like, everything you're going through right now, this process, this training, and when I say training, I mean challenge that you might be going through right now, that might be taking you out of being the CEO of your life, that might be taking you out of your power. I just want you to know that it's all serving a purpose. And when you can rise above that and see it with the perspective of this is helping me, this is happening for me, guess where that puts you? That puts you in the CEO role, because the CEO knows that there are no such thing as mistakes. The CEO knows that all the challenges are serving a purpose. The CEO knows that things can be moved around and that there is nothing that is set in stone. And that every day is an opportunity to begin again, to decide, to show up, to embody, and to not play the victim, but to realize that you've got the power. You've always had the power. And it's just a matter of you reallocating your energy and constantly coming back to the remembering. It's all remembering. And the remembering is that ultimately in your life and in your business, you make up the rules to this game. What rules are you no longer willing to play by? And what rules are you ready to put in place? And with that, I want to do a little mantra with you. So repeat after me. My life's work can't be rushed. The journey is the destination. I trust the process of my purpose. This is the beginning of everything that I want. That's all I got for you today. I encourage you to step into the CEO role. decide, be in charge of your power. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Badass Manifestor podcast. I love manifesting Mondays with you, and there's so much more in store right here. The best way to manifest love is to give love. If you loved what you heard today, subscribe to the Badass Manifestor podcast. Leave a review on iTunes. Let me know how much you dig the energy here. All of my social is linked up in the show notes, so screenshot this episode, tag me on Instagram, and let me be part of your real-time journey. For more info on me, feel free to go to my website, manifestwithash.com. Repeat after me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. Go get them.